Hey, everybody. Welcome in to the Songbird's Nest. My name is Margaret. Oh my goodness, computers. What can you do? It started freezing up, and I was like, oh no, don't do that to me now. And let me turn off the one on my phone so you don't have to hear me echo. So, hello everybody, Amber, Marianne, Lana, Camille, Julianne, so nice to see everybody in. I have a lot of things to show you today, so I'm glad that you are all here. And yeah, so you know, my computer just does the stupidest stuff sometimes. Yeah. I mean, it's been on, my computer's been on all day long, and it shows right now to do an update. Hello, Mandy. Nice to see you. Yes, thank you, Julianne. I have been very well. Just really busy. Summer is here, and trying to work on the garden and all that stuff. And then it's been warm enough that we've been going up to the beach on the weekends. So yeah. Yep, technology. You're right, Camille. Hello, Beth. Nice to see you. Hello, Blind Stitches. Nice to see you. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you got the link from her. Hey, Marty. Good to see you too. Haven't seen you in a while either. I've kind of been absent on the YouTube crochet world lately. I'm still here. I'm still creating. Yeah, I'm just not doing real well at doing content, I guess. And there's no excuse for that, but it is what it is. So the first thing I'm going to start out with is some happy mail that I received yesterday. I did open the package, but I haven't taken anything out. I mean, I kind of can see what's in the package. I kind of knew sort of what was coming, but not everything. So lifes. You are right about that, Marty. So yeah, so without further ado, let's look and see what's in my package. This came to me from Lori. Lori's Stories in Crochet. So I want to thank her for her gift of some beautiful yarn that I can't wait to use. This is some menagerie yarn that she sent me. When Joann's was going out of business, my store only had a couple of colors of menagerie, and they weren't colors that I wanted. So I was like, I'm not buying yarn I don't want, even though, you know, I wanted to try the menagerie. I just didn't want to try colors that I didn't want. So she sent me this one, which is, and this is nice and soft. Ooh, I cannot wait to use it. This one is the Purple Emperor Butterfly colorway. My computer is not doing a great job of picking it up, but that's pretty. It's got the purples and grays. So she sent me a couple of that colorway. And then she also sent me some Sunbeam Snake colorway. I like that. That's really cool. So I'm going to have to think of something fun to do with those. And then she also sent me, she sent me 3 of that colorway. Yay. That might be enough for a summer top. Then she also sent me a Just Yarn worsted value ombre in purple, of course, which looks blue on my computer because that's just what computers do. But it is a really pretty purple ombre. So I'm actually making an Afghan with some ombres, so that may get added to my Afghan. Oh, goodness. So that was my happy mail. Once again, thank you so much, Lori. I was really glad to see that. You know, I was freaking out a little bit because the package tracking showed it delivered at 1:51 p.m. in the afternoon. And the tracking said it had been delivered or handed to an individual. And I was like, well, I've been here and I don't nap so hard that I wouldn't hear a doorbell if they rang the bell. And I knew my husband hadn't gotten it because he would come let me know he had that I had a package. So yeah, I was freaking out a little bit. So then a little while later, about 3 o'clock, I guess it was, I got the doorbell rang, and it was a young teenage girl selling raffle tickets. And when after I was done talking to her and she was walking off the porch, I looked down and there's my package and a package for my husband sitting there. I was like, go figure. I don't know why they have to update their tracking information before they've actually delivered it, and obviously did not hand it to an individual. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, so I was glad to see it. Yeah, that is really weird, Lori. I don't know why they could have just said they left it on the porch, which would have been the truth. And I'd have been okay with that because all my delivery people do that. They just I've got chairs on my front porch and they either put it on or underneath the chair and ring the bell. Well, they didn't ring the bell, but they put it down on the floor in front of the chair. So, oh yeah. And I was going to be mad if it had gone to the wrong house. Although I will have to say that my neighbors, I've had deliveries go to 6:30 on other streets besides mine. And people have been nice enough to bring the delivery to me. So, yeah. So anyway, that's the story with the delivery. I did get it, and Lori, I love it. I'm gonna definitely have fun using that yarn. Oh yeah, FedEx. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get delivery services these days. They just don't do a great job. What can you do? So, I was going to show you guys a few things. Some stuff that I'm working on and some past things that I've made. Marty, actually, this is a really, really nice neighborhood to live in for the most part. I mean, we have our share of crime and stuff that goes on in the neighborhood. But for the most part, most of my neighbors are pretty nice. Um, my street in particular is kind of an aging population on my street, or on my block. We don't have a whole lot of kids down here, and a lot of the people are retired. Um, we've actually had several deaths just in the last few years from, some of the older people that have gotten sick and stuff. So it's kind of sad when you get to know your neighbors and then you lose them. So, yeah. But so to start out, yeah, yeah. Well, Marty, talking about being quiet, when I first moved in here, it's been a little over 7 years ago now. The first few weeks that I was here, I really didn't know if I had neighbors or not. I mean, I would see people driving to and from work and stuff like that, but, other than that, no, nothing. Well, then I found out the house next to me on the corner was empty and had been for quite a few years. And then finally, the lady that lives to the right of me came over and introduced herself and apologized that she hadn't come over to introduce herself and say hello and welcome me to the neighborhood. And she has gotten to be a really, really good friend. She's kind of like my surrogate mom these days since I lost my mom. Yeah, and she is almost 90 and in such great shape for her age. It's amazing. I can see some changes as she's aged, but she still gets around really well. And she lives there by herself. She lost her husband a little over a year ago. And so, I try to keep an eye on her. I know her daughter. Have gotten to know her daughter over the last few years, and so I kind of keep in touch with her daughter to make sure everything's okay with her. And if I don't see her for a while, I'll go over and knock on her door or give her a call. So yeah, but like her family has kind of taken over the yard work for her now because she really isn't, her balance isn't that great that she needs to be out pushing a lawnmower around the yard. And there have been a few times that she's kind of gotten a little perturbed because the grass is getting a little long and, she doesn't want to get something from the city hollering at her for having her grass too long. And her daughter, a couple of weeks ago, she said she was going to get the lawnmower out and do her lawn. And her daughter said, "You better not, because Margaret will be messaging me and telling on you." I said, "Yep, she's right. I would." So she didn't get the lawnmower out. But yeah. And her family did come over and get it taken care of for her. So, So anyway, one of the things that I wanted to show you guys today, we've been all kind of talking about filet crochet projects. And this is a filet crochet project that I made many, many, many years ago. It was a top that went over my wedding dress. My wedding dress was kind of a smoky blue satin with spaghetti straps and kind of a camisole top. And so I made this to go over the top of it. And unfortunately, you can't see the design real well, but it is in the top yoke of it, it's roses. And in the very center, it's like smaller roses on either side, and then in the very center, it's full-blown roses. And then down the front is panels of rose buds. And then in the center, I made it a little bit more open work and worked pearls into it. And then the back just has an opening and pearl buttons down the back. Now, when I originally made this, it was kind of an ivory color, and over the years of being here and there, it got a stain on it, kind of almost a tea stain type color. So I got some dye and dyed it gold. And yeah, so that's one of my filet crochet projects. I really do enjoy filet. So that took me a while to make, partly because I made it when we first moved down to Tennessee, and we were moving from our apartment into a duplex, so I kind of had to put it down and, you know, pack to move and then get to the new place and unpack. And so it took me about 6 months to complete that. In fact, I was working on it the night before the wedding. So I don't do anything under pressure. No. So another thing that I'm going to show you, we were talking in Camille's live earlier. Somebody came in and said that they had been making a rainbow skirt. And this is a rainbow skirt that I have been working on for a while. And it's called a vortex skirt. So the way that this works is this edge right here is the top edge of the skirt. So you work the rows down and around and around and around, and it kind of comes down to this narrow end. So what's going to happen is when I get this big enough, I'm going to make this part here big enough that it'll fit my hips comfortably, which will make it a fairly large circumference when I sew it together. But what happens is when you get it all done, you sew it all up so that this long edge sews up to this, and it makes it so that the stripes wind down and around your body. So yeah, so it's kind of a fun project. No, it's not a wrap skirt, Marty. It will be sewn together or crocheted together at the final row. But I mean, I suppose somebody could make a wrap skirt out of it if they wanted to. I'm not sure just how. The yarn is that I'm using on it is good old Hobby. It's their Rainbow 8/4 cotton. And I really like this cotton. It's nice and soft. And when I ordered this stuff, I ordered an absolute ton of it because I had an idea in my head of what I wanted. I knew I wanted to make something rainbow and have the stripes wrapping diagonally around me, not just, you know, straight up and down or around. I wanted those diagonal stripes. So It took me a while to find the pattern that worked for me. And I finally went down the Pinterest rabbit hole, and there it was, lo and behold. And I can't remember if it was a free pattern or if it, I don't remember. I may have bought it off Etsy. It may have cost just a few bucks. It wasn't a real expensive pattern as far as I remember. Hi, Russ. Nice to see you. Thank you for stopping in. I haven't seen you in a while. I don't really usually stay up as late as I used to. Nowadays, my husband changed his shift, and so I am getting up a little earlier. Plus, with the summer weather getting here, getting up and outside to water the garden early is kind of a priority these days. So, yeah, I miss your lives these days. I really do need to stay up one night and pop in. Pinterest is a vortex. You got that right. It is the biggest, besides Facebook, Pinterest is the biggest time sink that I can think of. Well, YouTube. I do spend a lot of time on YouTube. So, but I feel like my time on YouTube is well spent. Sometimes I wonder when I'm on Pinterest, I'm always putting project ideas into my, boards, and I have more project ideas than I'll ever be able to do in a lifetime. So, a sucking vortex. Yep, suction and holds on. That's right, exactly. Everybody hydrate. See what cup I'm using, Marianne? My husband has been threatening to steal it from me. I will be very upset with him if he does. Pinterest ends up taking you to Ravelry? Yeah, sometimes it can. Right about that. Yep, Mama Wench water bottle. That's right. I love it. Love it, love it. I fill it up every night. I put about 8 ice cubes in it, fill it with water, and put it on my bedside stand so that any time of the night that I reach over and need a drink of water, it's right there and it's cold. So I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Oh, so I just wanted to kind of talk to you guys a little bit about some other folks that I watch on YouTube, because YouTube is my substitute for watching TV. I don't watch TV. I don't watch like network TV. Yeah, well, if you have one left over, you might as well use it, Marianne. So YouTube is really my entertainment. So I know you guys probably, a lot of you know that I watch a lot of storm chasers. I have always loved storms. My father loved storms, and he passed that on to me when I was a small kid. So I've always loved, watching a good thunderstorm, lots of lightning and thunder and all that. Living in Tennessee, I did get a healthy respect for tornadoes. Very healthy respect, as a matter of fact. Never had one hit where I live, but there were some that hit really pretty close to me. And had they taken the path that they were forecasting it to take, one of them in particular could have hit our house. Um, Instead, it ended up hitting about a mile further down the road from us. But yeah, that was a scary day. Um, it was also very heart wrenching. Um, I went out and drove around in some of the areas that did get hit, and it it literally made me sick to my stomach because so many people lost everything. Um, I don't know that anybody was killed in that one, but um, yeah, there were a lot of people that lost everything. There was one house down the road a ways from me that the tornado basically took everything. I mean, the house was gone, and even some of the cement block from the basement was gone. It was just like unbelievable. So, yeah, a mile down the road, yeah, that was definitely a little close for comfort. Um, what was interesting is at the time that the storm was going on, I used to take my partner at the time, I used to take his mom into town every month when they got their checks. I would take her into town to do their grocery shopping and banking and all of that. So we were a couple of towns away when the storm warnings hit. And so we were on the way home, and as there was a huge hill that we had to come up to get up to Summertown where we lived. And it was raining and windy, just crazy, crazy rain. And I said to her, I said, I hope you know, if we see a tornado, you better be ready to get over and jump in that ditch. And she just looked at me like I was crazy. She didn't know just how serious I really was. I would have jumped in the ditch with the rattlesnakes because I was not going to get hit by that tornado. But then we got up to the top of the hill, and it was just like somebody had turned off the faucet and turned off the fan. It was dead still, no rain, no nothing. And that was even scarier yet, because my parents always told me before a tornado hits, it's going to get really, really quiet. And that's exactly what it was. I mean, it was just dead still. And at that point, I just floored it. And her house was just a little ways down the road from there. And so we got down to the house, and my friend came out of the house and he said, "You guys just missed it. It just went over." And yeah, it was scary, definitely scary. So, but yeah, so I do watch a lot of storm chasers. I'm still very interested in that. If I was 20 years younger, I would probably be out being a storm chaser. I can just see me doing that. In fact, if I had a car, I might still do it. Even these days, it might be fun. I know those storm chasing tours, I'd love to do one of those, but they're so freaking expensive. Be a part of Team Brandon? Yeah, I could do that. Uh, but then a couple of other channels that I've really gotten interested in lately. Um, well, one I've been watching for a few years now, actually, and her channel is called Itchy Boots. You may have heard me mention her before. She is a Dutch woman that rides around all over the world solo on a motorcycle. And she does travel videos, and her videos, when she first started, her videos were good, but as she has gone along with her channel, her videos just have gotten better and better and better. She has, I mean, she probably has National Geographic worthy content at this point. Um, yes, she is. She is really, she is not in Iran. She left the Middle East a while ago. She just published a book, and so she is, I think, currently touring around the UK area, um, doing book tour. So she was actually supposed to come over to the United States, but with the current situation here, she decided to call up those plans, which really was kind of a bummer because she was going to be in Chicago, and I would have loved to have gotten to go over there and meet her. That would have been just a blast. But yeah, when her book tour's over, I think she is going to try and pick up, probably not in Iran, but I know that her eventual plan with the whole Middle East part, she was going to eventually end up in Japan. I think that was her ultimate goal. So, yeah, so when her book tour's over, she'll probably pick back up, and she'll have to figure out, you know, with the current situation. Um, Russ, I really do appreciate that. I will have to say that with the hubby's new hours, he gets home around 1:30, and so that gives me, you know, pretty much all day, all afternoon to be able to get out and do anything I need to do. Which, I mean, to be real honest, I don't really get out and go that much anyway. I pretty much have, I get groceries in, you know, once a week or once every other week, and that's about sum total of my gallivanting around. So, um, yeah, Itchy Boots. And Itchy Boots, it's kind of an interesting, title. You know, you hear about people getting the traveling bug or the traveling Jones or itchy feet. Well, that's where it came from, is because she wears boots all the time being on the motorcycle. She has itchy boots. So, and she went to school to be a geologist, and she has worked all over the world as a geologist. I know she worked for a while down in Australia for a mining company, and she just got kind of really tired of it and decided just to pull up roots and do her thing traveling around the world. So yeah, that's what she's been doing for years now. And yeah, if I had a job, I think probably, you know, might be a little bit more problem with us only having the one car, but we've only had the one car since, actually since before we moved here, and we've made it work. So, you know, we may eventually become a two-car family again. My hubby is talking about wanting to get a new vehicle. He really wants to get an SUV of some type. So this car has been really great. And so he doesn't really want to get rid of it. And so, you know, it'll be nice if we do end up getting another vehicle. It'll be nice to have that one around for a backup, or if I get a wild hair and just want to go someplace, you know, it'll be there. But yeah, Lori, Itchy Boots is great. I definitely recommend her. Another one that I really enjoy, that I've been watching also for a few years now, is Destination Adventure. And he is a guy that he lives up in Canada, and he started out with just a motorhome, and he just drives, usually all summer he drives around and just goes different places, looks at glaciers, mountains, you know, all of Canada's beauty. He's driven over to Alaska. He's driven down the West Coast and down into um, Baja area, and, you know, camped around there. So yeah, his videos are really interesting. He bought himself an expedition truck. So part of his content was during the winter months, he had the expedition truck, and they basically tore it apart, you know, rebuilt the engine, transmission, the whole works, rebuilt the inside of it. So it was, you know, how he wanted it for him to live in while he was traveling. And it's an awesome vehicle. And then here lately, he bought a piece of property. I'm trying to think if it's on the Fraser River up in British Columbia, but it's on a big river, and it was basically an abandoned property with a cabin on it. So he's been doing home improvement type videos here lately, redoing the inside of the cabin and making it livable for himself and his partner. And then here recently, he has been over in Japan doing some content. So yeah, he has some really good content. And like Itchy Boots, his content has progressed over the years. His camera work and everything, and, you know, adding a drone to the mix just really has upped his game. And he does some really, really nice content. So yeah, I always watch for him to have something new coming out. So yeah, so that's just and one more that I just recently discovered. They've been doing content for a couple of years, I think, but I just recently fell in love with them. Their names are Philly and Keeley. They are a young couple from Northern Ireland, and they have the cutest accents. They're so fun just to listen to. You don't even have to watch them. Just listening to them is so much fun. But they have been traveling around doing the van life thing for a while now. And yeah, Philly and Keeley, exactly. And they just toured through Canada and came across to the United States. And the day that they came across to the US was right when the travel warnings got issued for traveling to the US. And she was so sure that they were going to get rejected to come across the border. And I mean, she was just like literally freaking out all over the place. But they managed to get across, and you know, now they're down here doing content. So um, they're out west traveling around, and it's just, it's so fun to watch them because they're very young for one thing, but watching them seeing the national parks and the stuff out west that we kind of take for granted as Americans, you know, it's there, we know it's there, we know it's beautiful, but you know, we don't appreciate it as much as probably we could. And seeing it through a fresh pair of eyes like them, and seeing their excitement over it is just really, really fun. And they're just cuter than they can be. I mean, they're they're just such a sweet couple. They never seem to have a bad word for each other. I'm sure probably they have their little tips, but you know, they don't show any of that. They're just always very sweet and very loving couple, and yeah, just darling. So they're a lot of fun. Very, very nice family friendly content. They they don't cuss. I mean, they're just, yeah, they're just amazing. So a lot of fun to watch. So yeah, so that's what I do with a lot of my time when I'm not watching Storm Chasers. So, what does everybody have on their hook these days? I am currently trying to finish up my parasol. I'm thinking that if I can get it finished by the end of this week, I am going to go ahead and put it in the county fair along with, maybe, I haven't decided maybe what other crochet project I might want to put in, but this is my parasol thus far. I've just got to get it. I've got this row of flowers will be, or flowers or leaves or whatever you want to call these little things with the three. I've got all of these bumps will be another set of these. So this one, this row of them will be my last, and then I'll do the border for it. And then I'll have to figure out how I'm stretching it on the parasol frame. But yeah, that's it so far. And I love this yarn. Now I did do a little color control because it's a Stenley cake. And so this center pink was, you know, going for a really long way and would actually have gone a lot further, but I decided to cut it off and roll up the rest of that pink so that I could go to the next darker color. And I don't know at this point, I'm getting real close to a darker color change than the red. It's starting to darken down, but I know I'm never going to get to this really dark part, which is kind of sad. If I could do a lot bigger parasol and get that dark part on it, I would love it, but it's not going to happen. So I've got to decide if when I get this row done, I'm going to see where it's at as far as getting to a darker, the next darker shade, and see if I want to cut it off in color control to go to the next darker one. We'll see when I get there. Yeah, yeah, you do have to make it a little smaller than the parasol frame so that you can stretch it onto the frame. Yeah, so we shall see. I know right now it's just about there. I was messing with the frame earlier, and I really have to stretch to get these around the frame. So I think by the time I get this set of leaves done, it'll be perfect. I'll be able to stretch it, but I want to have the border of it kind of, I'm going to have it kind of frilly, because as you can see, you know, it kind of does wavy. So this thing, the way it's made, it started out with 6 in the center, then went to 12 of the 3-leaf things. This most recent one, I did this set of bumps is 24. So when I do the final border, it'll be 36. 36? No, it may be 48, actually. Yeah, because each one of the bumps will have 2 little things coming off of it. So it'll be 48. So that will make it have a frilly border to it. So that's what I want. Hi, Trish. Thanks so much for coming in. I appreciate you. So nice to see you guys. So another thing, I know all of you guys have been aware that I've been making sun catchers here lately. And it is my plan to get them posted up on my my channel for sale. So watching for those, for the pictures to be up in my posts here. Hopefully tomorrow I'll get them in. I know that I said like last week that I was going to get them posted up. Yeah, it didn't happen, but I'm going to try and get the pictures done today. I brought my display board up from the basement so that I can have some place to hang them and be able to take the pictures. So be watching for those. Anybody that's interested in buying one. I'll put all the details, of course, in the posts when I post them. And yeah, I'll just, you know, ask you to shoot me an email if you're interested, and we'll go from there. So. What did she remind you, Marty? She sounds puzzled too. Well, Amber, I hope you will get one. Actually, I have one that I know maybe you'd be interested in. Maybe you or Julie Ann, either one. But yeah, honeybees and honeycombs, and then I put the gold colored droplets on it to kind of be reminiscent of honey. Yeah, so that's but I've got a few different ones with insects of one type or another. I've got butterflies, I've got a dragonfly, I've got several butterflies, I've got a couple of hummingbirds. So yeah, I've got a pretty good assortment of different things. I think I've got something that probably would just about suit anybody's taste. And they are really pretty. They're so pretty and sparkly, and really make a nice addition to a window. So flying pigs, unfortunately, Marty, no. That is not one that I have been able to find. Believe me, if there were flying pigs, I would be getting one so that I could make you a sun catcher with a flying pig. Kind of tree of life. Well, I've got a few different ones with the moon. Tree of life. No, I really don't have one that's a tree of life, Marianne. I do have some moon ones. This one has the moons, and then it has Luna moths on it. And then it has crystal stars as well as the big drop. And then this one is mainly stars. This one is a lotus. And I did the top in the rainbow colors, so they'll be like the chakra colors. Which one did you want, Marianne? The lotus one? Is that the one that you were liking? Thank you, Camille. Thank you, Michelle. The first moon one? Okay. So I've got two of those that are kind of more or less alike. One has blue crystal stars and the other one just has clear crystal stars. Which would you prefer? I'll put your name on it. The blue crystal? Okay. Let me Yeah, it is kind of fun having them all hanging there, except that they are kind of in my way because that's my storage shelf for projects and stuff. And obviously, I can't get to much with all of them hanging there. But I am going to go ahead and stick this one off to the side so that I know that one's claimed for Mary. What am I running over? My phone cord. Oh. Yeah, I actually think it would be fun to have this window behind me all full of them. Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, I have pretty much exhausted my my catalog of things to talk about today. So I am gonna let you guys go and go on about your day. I'm probably going to go and start some supper. We're gonna have tacos tonight. I'm looking forward to that. I'm kind of hungry. All I've had today is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, so I'm ready to have something to eat. So thank you, Camille. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. I really do appreciate every one of you. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. It is free. And I don't post a lot of content. I will admit I am not the greatest at that. I'm going to try and start doing better. But I'm thinking that about this time of day on Sundays might be a good time. Kind of go live after Marty. I think that would be about a perfect time. So it kind of puts me after Marty and before Lori does her evening live. So I think this is a good time on Sunday. So y'all start watching for me. You may see more of me. And I hope that you will definitely come and visit again. Like I said, if you could hit that like button. Also, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to me. It helps me get my channel out there a little bit more. And I'm sure, see a lot of you around the YouTube streets on other lives. So thanks for coming in and hanging out in the Songbird's Nest. And I hope that you all have a wonderful rest of the day. Take care, everybody. Have a great night. Thank you, Amber. Bye, everybody.